Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another week of the Pokemon Swish Draft League. This is week 11. Week 11 of our 14-week regular season. Big week. A lot of big matchups. We don't have divisions, but if we had divisions, these would all be division games. It's everyone that was in the same kind of grouping when I did the strength of schedule. So... Or if you're thinking from college sports, think of it as like the SEC teams will play the SEC teams, the Big 12 teams will play the Big 12 teams, etc., etc. Let's see. Tower of Waters, I believe, is what we did last week. It was. We will do Mustard 2. Gotta write it down so that I remember that for the future. Alright, Mustard 2 for the music. Our first matchup of the day is between Wailforce 1, who is 0-10, and Team Garrett, who comes in at 2-7. Team Garrett still with an unlikely but very possible playoff route. They could potentially win out their last 5 games and get to 7-7, or there might even be a way they could squeak in at 6-8, depending on what the Power and Nightmare do. I think 7-7 is the safer bet to have a shot. But it all starts with this match first, and of course what those other teams end up doing. Because if those other two teams end up getting to 8 wins, then the 7-7 doesn't work. But they do have a shot right now. It's an important game for them, and it's an important game for Wailforce, as well as they're still trying to get win number 1. All right, here we go. All right, I already picked the team, but I'll do it again, I guess. Must have hit a wrong button there on my end. Check and make sure that the other person is getting things to work out well on their end. I expect this first one to be kind of a quick battle. Because since this is such a water-laden team, I mean, the Shift Tree and the Manectric are both going to cause problems. I would love to lead Wingull because it'd be neutral against the Shift Tree. Although it dies very quickly to Manectric. I gotta leave Wingull and Relicanth back, though, so that if we do, by some miracle, get by the first 2, we have something that can fight Shedinja. Alright, here we go. As expected, I knew it was going to be Manectric or Shift Tree, one or the other. Well, if we do Rain Dance, we help its Hurricane. So I think the only thing we can do is Body Slam. Well, hope we survive the hit, Body Slam, and if it's paralyzed, maybe we have a chance then. Oh, they're going Swords Dance. They're going for the sweep. Okay. I mean, I work with what I'm given with. This was the lineup I'm given to work with, so I'll do the best I can. Really could have used that paralysis there. We're in trouble. Alright, Wailord goes down. That's not a surprise. Wailord's not a bad Pokemon, but a double-powered Leaf Blade from a Shift Tree gonna hurt a lot on a Wailord. Honestly, it might even one-shot the Wingull now. Not might. It probably does one-shot the Wingull. Oh my gosh, we gotta go first. Maybe we freeze it? Dang. I can't believe Feebas outsped it, though. That was pretty funny. All right. Not looking great. Yeah, that Swords Dance pretty much made this go the way I expected it to go. We're faster. All right, Shift Tree goes down. Wingull with the knockout. Problem is they still have Manectric. But if we can get around Manectric, there's a chance. We have some Blizzards for the Gabite. I think Relicanth can get by Mawile potentially. So we have a shot. Not a high shot, but a shot. Yeah, there we go. Manectric will take out Wingull. All right, Relicanth. You do have Sturdy. I don't remember if we have Earthquake on this thing or not. I don't think we do. We don't. Amnesia's useless because we'll get hit before we get to attack. We gotta go Stone Edge and hope for a crit. Miss Thunder would be nice too. It did not miss. We need to hope for a crit, and we need to not be paralyzed. No paralysis. We do land the attack. Not a crit. And a smart play by the opponent, going with the much more likely to hit Ice Fang instead of Thunder. That's going to do it. That is a 4-0 victory for Team Garrett. Like I said, I kind of expected that one just from the type mismatch. Wailforce still has some good chances to win down the stretch. I do think it has 2 winnable games down the stretch on its schedule. So I do think they will finish the season without being winless. But as we saw this week, that was just going to be really tough. All right, congratulations, Team Garrett, for the win. On to the second match. I don't have a whole lot to say there. I mean, that's kind of what we assumed would happen in that fight. This one I expect to be much closer. Like, this one, to me, in my opinion, is a true coin flip. We have Team Leanna versus Licky Munchkins. Both these teams technically still in the playoff hunt if they can get either the Power or Nightmare, one or the other, to lose out the rest of the way. Then they could get to a situation where maybe the tiebreakers come into play. If the Power and Nightmare both win their matchups today, these two will be eliminated. Wailforce right now is the only team that is eliminated from playoff contention. I forgot to say that earlier. So, important game as far as trying to stay alive. The loser will be out for sure. The winner, like I said, still has a chance. I do think this will be a fairly even battle. There's no clear advantages. I would say Team Leanna gets the small edge with all their Pokemon being, like, they've got 4 fully evolved Pokemon, and then Linoon is not a bad Pokemon, but a lot of their Pokemon are weak to some of the Pokemon that Licky Munchkins has. So I think this could go either way. It's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. You know what? I'm not going to lead Lopunny just because we do that. It seems like both sides lead with Lopunny all the time for this team. For the sake of mixing it up, I'm going to lead Lunatone because it's a little more defensive than Solrock. And we'll kind of go from there. Let's see here. I guess just Psychic if it's Munchlax, right? It gets the freeze on the very first Ice Punch. Really? Really? Come on. Of course, this Munchlax has shown in a couple battles that it's better than expected. It's not as good as an Eviolite Munchlax, of course, but it's got a little more fight in it than you'd expect from a baby Pokemon. Wow, it takes out Lunatone with the freeze. Alright, good start for Licky Munchkins. I guess with that logic, we're going to go with, we're going to go Solrock. Trying to save Lopunny for near the end. We could try to, instead of flinching everything into oblivion at the beginning, we could do that at the end maybe and get a win. Let's Zen Headbutt. We're faster, so we'll have a shot to flinch. We got the flinch. 80, 90, 100. Let's go Zen Headbutt again. This Munchlax has been durable enough. I feel like it might barely survive the Earthquake. Zen Headbutt does indeed hit, and that's going to be a knockout for the Solrock. I like Solrock. Who's coming in next? Licky. No doubt they're going to Hydro Pump or Power Whip us. So I'm actually going to switch to Tangrowth. Yep. Getting Amnesia up real quick. Licky missed, even better. I mean, it did miss us. Let's chance it. Go for one more. Alright, full on attack mode now. Focus Blast. Yeah, of course we miss. They missed as well. Both sides relying on inaccurate moves. Okay, we're just going Energy Ball next turn. I'm taking the sure damage. We must be speed tied because like it went before us all of a sudden. Okay, now I definitely want to go Focus Blast. Alright, let's see what they're up to. There we go, third time's a charm. Man, if we would have hit two of those, it would have been beat. We even got the defense drop. We survive it. They go first this time, for whatever reason. That must be a speed tie situation. Licky gets the knockout of Tangrowth. I'm pretty sure all three of these are faster. Let's go Linoon. chop. Licky Licky goes down. 3 apiece remaining. 3 apiece remaining. I feel like Double Edge should be strong enough to beat it, but we'll see. It was not. Kind of interesting that they went Draining Kiss, because I know that thing has Body Slam. You might have had a shot at paralyzing me. But alright. Linoon gets the knockout. Multiple knockouts for Linoon in this one. Alright, we're faster. We get our Double Edge in. And with the rain, Pelipper's going to take us out with the Hurricane. Now, we are weak to water, but they're also weak to Stone Edge. I was hoping Hydro Pump would miss. It did not miss. And Soul Rock will go down. Alright, well, let's see if it paid off saving Lopunny for the end. Didn't get a flinch there. That's gonna hurt. Lopunny's alive somehow. Definitely needs a flincher. It's going down this turn. Couldn't get the flinches on our side this battle. Pelipper with the knockout. And that is a 2-0 victory for Licky Munchkins. Really hoping mixing it up would do something different for Team Leanna, especially since they keep using the same lineup every week, but not good enough to overcome everything there. All right, moving on to our third matchup of the day. At 7-3, we've got the Mamoswine Flu. Against the Pokemon Power. Power's late to submit their lineup here. Let me see if I can get something from them. We'll give them a minute. If we don't hear back from them here in a few moments, we'll move the battles around. In fact, you know what? I think we're going to do that anyway. We'll move the... we'll go ahead and play the Squirtle Squad. And Harpers Ferry Haunter matchup. instead. Squirtle Squad comes in 5-5. Harpers Ferry Haunter 7-3. These will be the, again, this will be the third matchup instead of the fourth matchup while we get things sorted out there. We're not going to rearrange 5 and 6, so I'm being generous giving that person a tiny bit more time. So we want Team 4 here. They had as much time as everyone else to get this in. All right. Alrighty then. Let's see. This is a big one because Harpers Ferry Haunter is still fighting for the 2 seed. Like, they're in that race for the 2 seed. Squirtle Squad fighting to get into the playoffs. Right now the cutoff is 6-4. They're 5-5. So they're right there. If you're wondering why I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's how this person wanted their team. Like, they wanted me to lead with Curlia, so yeah. And again, even though I'm trying to win the battle, I gotta respect the owners' wishes of all these teams. I think we're actually going to outspeed it, so we don't need the Trick Room. But I also think that thing, if I remember correctly, has Sludge Wave. Of course, I don't have anything that switches in well to Sludge Wave. So I think Curlia just kind of has to take one for the team here, unfortunately. I'm guessing it doesn't have Sludge Wave, or else it would have done that. Didn't matter, it one-shot us anyway. Alright. I'm going to Swords Dance because I expect them to switch. Yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting. We do have Dig. Are we faster? We are faster. Okay. If they're smart, they'll switch out this next turn. Alright, I was going to say, you really going to let Heatran sit out there to get hit by Dig? I mean, that's a good hit because of the Swords Dance. Alright, Body Slam. Grovile's gone. Oh. I was gonna say I didn't have any tissues available. Oh, so I'm improvising. Alright, Gallade this time. I figured it wouldn't be Heatran again. Are we faster than Gallade? We are. And we take out Gallade with Leaf Blade. Okay. I think that the Haunter are in trouble. Because since we know we're faster than Heatran, we can dig. And they're either going to have to stay in there, or they're going to have to switch. And what's left is Regirock, which it would also be super effective against. Or Swampert, who we outspeed. They're going to stay in. We took it out. I honestly think they were in a lose-lose there. Because, again, we outspeed Regirock and Swampert. So if they switch one of them in there, we just beat them. Like, we hurt one of them with Dig and then Leaf Blade them next turn. So, us getting the Swords Dance Leaf Blade up was huge. I didn't expect this one to be as big a blowout as it's going to be. Regirock survives, though. Maybe it could save the day. It did not get a critical hit. That's big. Regirock will go down. And it looks like Leafeon is going to carry us to victory in an upset that'll give me my first win against the computer today. Unless something crazy happens, like Swampert somehow outspeeds Leafeon, or we somehow miss 100% accurate Leaf Blade. Yep, there it is. Four 0 victory for the Squirtle squad. Alrighty. That keeps the Squirtle squad alive for the playoffs, and it gives Flygon a little bit of breathing room, considering the Flygon has to play Rayquaza this week. Alright, I have received word that there is a legitimate excuse for the Power not having their lineup in time. So we are going to move them to the 6th game and do their game last. So with that being the case, the 4th matchup of the day is going to be our marquee matchup. The Raging Rayquaza, who are sitting at 10-0, against the 8-2 Fairmont Flygon. Something's going to have to give here. Rayquaza's undefeated. Fairmont Flygon have won 8 in a row. There's got to be a win to there's got to be an end to one of these win streaks. I will say I got a little bit surprised when I found out that they weren't using Cresselia. My whole plan was essentially around getting rid of Cresselia and Latios. So this is going to be rough for the computer version of my team. That's not going to fare well. So, really, unless I lose Garchomp and Gastrodon here, Raging Rayquaza should win. I think my better shot of pulling the upset against this team will be in the rematch at the end of the season when I get to be in control of my own team. So I'm coming into this with expectations of most likely losing. I mean, I'll beat the computer, but I mean like my Fairmont team losing. Okay, they didn't go for Protect first. I probably should have switched out. I thought they'd do the old take a Protect turn first. That's my bad. Alright, well, the bad news still for that Sharpedo is even with the speed boost, it's going to have to deal with Gastrodon. Okay, good switch into the Rotom. I brought the Rotom. I selected that in case this team had Gastrodon. I just didn't think this other person would also think to do that. Yeah, its attacks are not going to hurt Latias much, regardless of what it picks. As I say, surely it won't Thunder Wave because, like, we were ground type. I know it has Thunder Wave. Thunder won't hurt us. It's got a much weaker Leaf Storm now. I'm going to switch again. There we go. Go for the Fire Blast. We missed. Great start. Both sides missed. All right. What's it gonna do? What's it gonna do? Alright, we hit this time. Not enough to take it out. Going Leaf... It's a weakened Leaf Storm. We're gonna Dragon Claw. Get the sure knockout. Or not. Okay. Odd choice. Regice survives. Misses the Blizzard, though. All right, well. I think Garchomp's going to knock it out. All right, they're going to protect. Let's get Gastrodon back in there. Okay, in case they switch to the Rotom, let's go Hydro Pump. I thought about Blizzard, but Hydro Pump would be more accurate, and it was already low on health. Alright, Rotom goes down to Gastrodon. I'll say the two biggest threats to Gastrodon that were brought were Regice and Rotom, so with them being gone, that's a big thing for Gastrodon. I was going to say, Sharpedo's only a threat if it gets a critical hit in this matchup. And it did not. Alright, Aggron. Again, I brought it more for the Steel versus Psychic, like, resisting hits equation. It's not really here to fight Gastrodon. It will get the job done against Gastrodon, though. Alright, let's get Garchomp out there. I know that thing has Ice Punch, but we can knock it down a peg, get it to 1 health so that the other two can beat it quickly. Its only chance is to autotomize here and hope Ice Punch is enough to beat Garchomp in 1 shot. I think they realize that too. Ice Punch was enough. It's not over yet for the Fly. It was a critical hit too. Not sure if it mattered or not, but that's a big deal for the Flygon. Definitely going to be going with Mesprit here because Latios could be weak to that Ice Punch. I think it's better to just get the knockout. If it doesn't flinch us. Critical hit. No flinch. Okay. Mesprit will take out the Aggron. It's down to Drapion, who is a dark type, against Mesprit and Latios. Drapion takes out Mesprit. Okay, this is much closer than I thought it would be. It's going to come down to if Latios can... This is a good one. This is down to the stretch. I do know that Drapion's not the most specially defensive, though. So, I think it'll depend on if it gets a critical hit or not here. If it's just back and forth, I think 2 Dragon Pulses will do it. Oh, maybe not. It's going to come down to if Drapion... Now I got to make a decision about if I recover or not. If it gets a critical hit, we're dead. I think I have to go Dragon Pulse and hope we get a higher damage roll. Because if we recover, we're going to get half our health back, so we'll be at, what, 90? And yeah, with the crit, it definitely beats us at 90. Dragon Pulse and hope for a higher roll. We got the higher roll. Look at me and my decision making. A 1-0 victory for myself today as the player, but a 1-0 loss for my team. Wow. The fact that just shows I picked a good team. The fact that that team almost beat this undefeated team. It literally came down to a damage roll. It was a low roll the first turn and a high roll the second turn. For those that don't know, Pokemon damage calculations, the damage roll could be anywhere from 85% to 100. So I'm guessing that first time we got an 85, 90, something like that. in the damage calculations. And that second time we got 95, 100, something higher up. So, wow. Literally came down to a damage roll and if there was a critical hit or not. Because obviously if Drapion had a critical hit that previous turn, it would have won it right then and there. Great battle. Congrats to the Rayquaza for staying undefeated. I would have preferred, in a way, to get the win for my team, but at least it's another win for me against the computer today. All right, moving on. Match number 5 for today. The Nightmare AC, who are 6-4, trying to stay in the playoffs at the moment, against one of those teams trying to sneak in at 5-5, My Little Ponyta. These two teams are rivals and will see each other again in a couple weeks. So, just because one team loses today does not mean they're out of the race, especially since there is a rematch on the horizon. Let's see. So the Haunter lost. So my team should still be ahead of them, the Fairmont Flygon. The race for number 2 is going to be very highly impacted by that Mamoswine power game, which will be after this one. Like I said, there was a legitimate reason for the power not getting their lineup in, so they have been moved from the 3rd game to the 6th game. From what they've got, I feel like this team leads Bronzor a lot, or it's going to lead Hippowdon for the Sandstorm. Let's lead Ludicolo. We can change it to we can have it rain if it's sandstorms, and if it's not a sandstorm, we just attack. I think that's fair. All right. Well, go ahead and rain dance anyway. It's going to Trick Room, and we're not going to one-shot it. So we might as well at least boost our damage output. Hydro Pump. To say Hydro Pump is stronger in the rain than it is normally. All right. Ludicolo takes out Bronzor. All right, that's scary because I think in the rain we're faster than it and Trick Room's up. It's going to Sludge Bomb us. I'd be shocked if it did Energy Ball. Because Energy Ball would hurt, but Sludge Bomb would be a one-hit knockout. Yep. I do not know now who is slower. So there's that. Alright, they are technically slower. Good to note for when this Trick Room ends. Trick Room's over. That's not going to hurt much. We do have Earthquake, though. Although now that I think about it, both sides have Earthquake, so... Dang it. I had a feeling, I knew it was sturdier than us, but I was hoping our Earthquake would do more damage than it did. Alright. We got Rotom. I was trying to think, how do I deal with the Metagross? I think Shadow Ball will be enough. Yep. Okay, okay. Well, that's interesting. We're fire, so Fairy's not going to hurt much, and we're electric, so flying's not going to... I guess it does have ancient power, doesn't it? Confuse rate. That hurt, but we're bulky. That was a crit. Oh, I got the ancient power boost. That's bad. That's really bad. Oh, that's so bad. We are in deep doo-doo. And it snapped out of confusion on the second turn. Really? That's so bad for us. It boosted speed, attack, defenses, like everything. Weavile, go. I don't know if Weavile outspeeds it still or not with that boost. Guess we're gonna find out, right? We still outspeed it. Oh, but with a defense boost, it did not one-shot. It's getting greedy. It's going for another one. Oh, thank goodness. I was going to say, if it gets another one, it's over. Okay, Ice Punch it again. Alright, oh my gosh, that could have been disastrous. Holy cow, if it would have got a second one, that was game over. Holy cow. Gosh, that was scary. That's one of the scarier Pokemon moments when something gets an ancient power boost. You're in trouble. We're lucky Weavile's as fast as it is. In most situations, that Togekiss probably would have gone on to sweep us. I just get some damage on it. That's gonna go down. Hippowdon will take out Weavile. You got Ludicolo and Latios against Hippowdon and Roserade. Rain Dance. get rid of the sandstorm and up our speed, which will not hurt us this time because there's no trick room. But yeah, they could land a fissure. Well, at least Latios floats. Good luck fissuring something that's not on the ground. We have Surf, and it's boosted by the rain. There goes Hippowdon. Another match that's coming down to the end. All right, this should be a Latios victory unless I mess something up here. But what a good battle. That is a 1-0 win for Nightmare. Honestly, that was so close. If I was in charge of Ponyta, it'd probably be a 1-0 Ponyta win. A couple of those 1-0 and 2-0 outcomes. Still waiting on the power. Gonna give him about 5 minutes here. 5-10 minutes. Alright, you know what? I'll pause the video until they get their lineup in. But before I do that, let's go over what this match means. First off, there's the Mamoswine, who are 7-3. And the Power, who are 6-4. This is a big matchup with Flygon and Haunter losing. Mamoswine Flu can either get closer to the 2 seed or, depending on tiebreakers, maybe even get the 2 seed with a victory today. The Power are looking to hang on to their playoff spot. Right now they are the number 6 team at 6-4. Squirtle Squad did win earlier today, getting themselves to 6-5. Nightmare has clinched a playoff spot by getting to... I'm sorry, not clinched a playoff spot. They've upped their record to 7-4. If the Power win, then Team Garrett and the Licky Munchkins will both be out of playoff contention. If the Power lose, both those teams still have a shot. Technically, Team Garrett will still have a shot even if the Power win, but then they're having to root for teams to go 0-3. And also, let's be honest, the point differential, the tiebreaker, Team Garrett is so far behind in the tiebreaker that I don't think they could win a tiebreaker with anyone. So while 7-7 might be a good enough record to get in, 6-8 might be a good enough record to get in. I think they're going to have to go 7-7 realistically to get in. So Power needs, if the Power wins, Team Garrett, Licky Munchkins both out. Munchkins out mathematically, Garrett out realistically. If the Power lose, both those teams are still mathematically in the race. So, things are going to get interesting here. I guess I'll go ahead and have the team selected before I pause, just to make sure we have it selected. All right, with that being the case, I'm going to pause now until I get the lineup from the Power. All right, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. There was a lot that happened. A lot that happened. To the point where even my system looks different. I don't know why it looks different. It shouldn't be different, but it is different. Yeah. I think we literally took so long getting the lineup that OBS updated while I was waiting. Alright, there we go. I got things somewhat back under control now. Okay. Yikes. Bit of a wait. But we got things settled out. Figured out. See, I'm all out of sorts. But we got it figured out. Alright. I'm texting over what their chosen lineup was supposed to be. All right, holy cow, you mean we're actually going to get this one on the road? There we go. Big, important game for the standings, it turns out. So, we'll see how it goes. Let's hope it's not like a 5-0 sweep after the wait. That'd sound about right. Oh, boy. Let's see here. If I was going to go against that, Mamoswine's a good option except for the Walrein. Walrein's really the main thing that gives us problems because it can even hit Gastrodon with a couple things. I believe we go Bronzong to start and kind of work it out from there. All right, final match of Week 11. Will we have a bunch of people at 7-4? Or will we have a shakeup in the standings, including someone falling out of the playoffs at the moment? Just making sure I didn't have anything playing in the background there. Trick Room, I believe you're faster than me. That's not ideal, but we do have, I think, Psychic. So, Gyro Ball is kind of shot now. We do have Psychic. We'll try to hit it this turn, and then after it fades with Phantom Force, we'll try to switch. If we have an option that makes sense. Because none of its other moves made sense. Like, it's not going to Air Slash a Steel type. A defensive Steel type on top of that. We're Dark type, so it won't hurt much, but then again, we're kind of frail. And with the Trick Room, it'll be faster than Crawdaunt. I think, honestly, we just kind of take it. I hate to say that, but I think that's kind of what we got to do here. I'm picking Gyro Ball because I knew we were going to miss. Oh, that had to be a crit. That had to be a crit. I was going to say, there's no way with our defenses it did that much, but critical hits, that's something you can't plan for. Even the best plans can get destroyed by a critical hit. Well, now it makes sense to put Torkoal in because we're much slower. And even that Walrein doesn't want anything to do with Torkoal. In a Trick Room situation. So I would imagine that they're going to try, hope they survive and try to Phantom Force again. That's my guess. Boosted Fire Blast. That's going to hurt a lot. Driftblim did not survive that. Well, that's an interesting choice. I mean, we have Solar Beam. We're faster in the Trick Room than the Rhyperior. How about that? Rhyperior hangs on with Sturdy. No, not that's right. It doesn't have Sturdy. It just naturally hangs on and hurts Torkoal. And now Trick Room's over, so it's probably going to get Torkoal here. I can't believe Rhyperior is actually faster. It's such a slow Pokemon. It says a lot about Torkoal. Alright. So since we just have to be faster, this makes sense. Just get the guaranteed hit. Yep, there you go. Gardevoir. That's not really what I want to see. It has Energy Ball, which is bad for all three of our remaining Pokemon. I think we Dragon Dance and hope we survive. Because I think it's yeah, it's faster. So even if I went for Crab Hammer this turn, we weren't going to get the hit. Okay, so Gardevoir takes out Crawdaunt. The question is, does Mamoswine survive a Energy Ball to get the hit? We're faster, so who cares about surviving one? Okay, now I care about surviving one. Come on. Alright, that hurt a lot, but we're alive. Alright, Gardevoir goes down. Alright, Magnezone. It has Sturdy, is the problem. So it's probably going to take us out after we hit it. Alright, Magnezone with a knockout. Gastrodon can win this, but a lot of it's going to depend on... We're going to need the Wall Rain to kind of suck. Use Waterfall, because we're not going to use water against a water Pokemon much. I mean, that's not going to help us much. Magnezone goes first and gets to hit us. Luckily, we weren't frozen or burned or anything. Alright, Gastrodon versus Walrein. That Walrein does have Sheer Cold. I know Hydro Pump's not going to help it at all because we have Storm Drain, but it does have quite a few moves that could scare us. Alright, 0 for 1 on the Sheer Cold at least. Oh, it's going to get a couple tries at us. There's your ball game. 30% chance to hit. It hits. That's going to be a 1-0 victory for the Pokemon Power. That puts me at 3-3 for the day against the computer. All right, well, that was worth the wait. I mean, they won, so I guess the late lineup worked. All right, I'll be right back in just a second with our updated standings. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back again. Whatever. So here's our updated standings. Raging Rayquaza has now clinched officially a playoff spot. They could lose out, and regardless, they're still going to be in the tournament. I don't think that really surprises anybody, seeing as they're 11-0. Flygon hang on to second place, because even though my Flygon team lost today, Haunter and Flu also lost. So it's a real mess for the second seed. It's an 8-3 team, and then 4 7-4 teams. All of them have a shot. Technically, even the Squirtle squad have a shot at the 2 seed. My Little Ponyta and Team Garrett both still have shots at the playoffs. Yeah, going by a tiebreaker, they likely wouldn't get the 2 seed, but they could get as high as like 3. So, yeah, a lot to play. As you can see, we do have 3 teams officially eliminated now. We already knew Wailforce won coming into today. Team Leanna is eliminated, and Licky Munchkins, despite winning today, since the Power and Nightmare both won, Licky Munchkins officially eliminated from playoff contention. They still got 3 more fun weeks to play, but they are not going to make the tournament. Team Garrett hanging on for dear life. They're going to have to win out, and they're going to have one of the 7-4 teams lose out. If all the 7-4 teams get to an 8th win, or Team Garrett loses another game, it's over. My Little Ponyta, looking a lot better, 5-6, 2-game difference with 3 weeks to go. Very possible. They don't even necessarily have to win out. They could win 2 out of 3. Depending on tiebreakers. I mean, look at tiebreakers. They're probably not going to catch like the Power where it's a 2 versus a 13. Sorry, my dog is misbehaving. Rudy, come on, settle down. Settle down, buddy. I will show the world Rudy here. Huh, Rudy? Well, good little guy. Getting into stuff while the video's concluding here. We'll behave for a little bit longer, okay? I'm almost done. Alright, so anyway, as I was saying, probably not going to catch up to, like, the Power because it's an 11-point difference in the point differential. But if you compare them to, say, the Mamoswine Flu, who have a 5, or the Haunter, who have an 8, very possible. So they could get in if they catch up to one of those select teams by winning 2 of the last 3. They could catch up to any of us if they win all 3 of the last 3. So they're still very much alive. But that's how the standings look right now. Squirtle Squad being on the outside looking in, but they're only a game out. So, yeah. This now is, we're officially back in the territory where this is my worst record against the computer, which makes sense because I'm playing against a human being instead of a computer this year. So, I'm still winning more than I'm losing, but it makes sense that the numbers are down. Looking at the updated statistics, Latios and Lucario and Registeel still leading the way for Nightmare. They had a close win today. Ponyta's Roserade and Metagross, with Hippowdon actually climbing up there in the standings. For the Power, Walrein now becomes the knockout leader. Well, is tied for the knockout leader this season, albeit with a better ratio. So I would say that Walrein is number 1 right now. And then just a drop off to 6th for Driftblim. Like, it's funny. Definitely, statistically, it looks like Walrein's carrying the team, but this is a very, very good team. Well balanced. Raging Rayquaza, it's Cresselia and Garchomp. Cresselia did not make an appearance today. I think it's interesting. We've played 11 games this season. And while Cresselia has only played in 5, its numbers are so good in those 5 that it's going to be in the MVP conversation. Just from, I mean, it's got a 12-0 ratio in 5 appearances. I mean, really. Flygon, for Fairmont Flygon, is leading with 10-3. Aggron had a good showing today. It's up to 9-3. Sharpedo's good, 8-3. Regice got kind of the raw end of the stick, missing its only Blizzard attempt. Honestly, I think I had a really good lineup today. I think that if I use this same lineup or something very similar to it when I'm in charge against the Rayquaza, I think I can win. But we'll see what they do. Squirtle Squad, very similar thing. Leafeon has gone off whenever it's shown up, but it's only had 4 appearances for whatever reason. Licky Munchkins, Pelipper now in the lead there. And there's a Pokemon with a positive ratio now for Licky Munchkins. Wailforce 1, the leader still being Relicanth, although Wingull caught up with a 4th knockout today. Harpers, Ferry, Haunter, it's still very much Heatran and Azelf leading the way for that team. Mamoswine, Fluid, still Mamoswine way out in front with Torkoal not far behind. Team Garrett, it's Shiftry and Manectric. And Team Leanna, it's pretty much Lopunny. So, once again, that's a reminder of what the bracket looks like and why everyone's fighting so hard to get that 2 seed. We still have not determined if the playoffs will be 2 games where both teams take a turn with me representing them and we add up the scores, or if it'll just be single elimination. I'm sort of leaning towards single elimination because we do have an actual human player on the other side, but I don't know. We did the two round thing last season, so I'll have to kind of get a poll and gauge everyone's opinions of that. Maybe we'll do that after we make the playoffs. We'll ask the 6 teams that are in it what they want to do or something. All right, games for this next week. I'm going to write them down so that there's no chance that I forget later on when I'm texting matchups to the contenders. Bear with me, everyone, as I do some behind-the-scenes stuff here on camera. I'm drawing up the matchup sheet for next week right now. Let's see, I'll be week 12. Swish. Don't have music decided yet, but music. All right, to show everyone what it looks like. There you go. Some columns. And me just keeping track of the old-fashioned way, pen and paper. All right. We've got the Fairmont Flygon playing on the road against My Little Ponyta. Big game for both teams. All right. We've got Raging Rayquaza, 11-0, on the road against Nightmare. Nightmare AC. So Nightmare at 7-4, going to get their shot to try and put a blemish on the Rayquaza record this season. All right, in the middle tier for the scheduling, we have rematches already. Well, this will be interesting. See if anyone mixes things up or not this next week. We'll have a rematch with the Harpers, Ferry, Haunter, who just got beat badly by the Squirtle Squad this week to drop to 7-4, against the Squirtle Squad, who is 6-5. They could catch up to Haunter if they pull off a second win in a row against them. We've got the Mamoswine flew, except this time being controlled by the computer. They are 7-4, playing against the Pokemon Power, who are also now 7-4. And in the lower column here, also some repeat matchups. That's just how the schedule worked out, especially once we added 2 teams in late. We've got in the second game, we'll have Wailforce 1 playing at Garrett. So this time we'll be Team Garrett on my end. The 0-11 Wailforce against Team Garrett, who is 3-7. I always have to take a second to pause because they are one game. They've played one less game, them and Leanna. And then in the first game, we'll have Team Leanna on the road at 1-9 against Licky Munchkins, who is currently 3-8. So a couple repeat matchups this next week. And then after that, we won't have anything like that again. We'll have rematches, but not two in a row like that again. So, yeah, things are getting interesting. The standings, once again, right there. Got some teams eliminated. We got one team that clinched. Fairmont Flygon, if they get a win this week, can clinch. Well, let me rephrase that, sorry. A win by the Flygon and a loss by the Squirtle squad is a clinch for the Flygon. No one else is able to clinch because there'd be 2 games left and a 2-game difference. So, we're literally going to come down the last week or 2 before anyone else can clinch playoff spots. So, if you liked what you saw here today, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, you know, that YouTube nonsense. And I'll see you next time with Week 12 of the Pokemon SWSH Draft League. All right, see you again. Bye-bye.